That was a very fast stinger, but welcome everyone to the comeback episode of Make Azure AI Real series. I say it's the comeback episode because this is the kickoff to season two. If this is your first season, don't stress. You have a whole season of Make Azure AI Real behind you and also ahead of you, which we have on the screen. But before we get into any of that of the episodes, we have a special guest this time. I'm typically the host, but this whole series would be nothing without my co-host at the moment for this first episode, at least, Melina. Welcome. I would say welcome but you are the architect of this. But welcome to the front stage of Make Azure AI Real.
I appreciate it, Corey. It's so exciting to be here. Hi, everyone. My name is Milena. I am our Azure AI Studio Product Marketing Manager. And I love supporting, creating, architecting events for developers like everybody here.
Perfect. Well, yeah, this episode we're gonna do a couple of things. We're gonna see, like I said, a view back, a view ahead, kind of summarizing what the Make Azure AI Real is, and like what has happened in the world of AI before and after, or after the first season. Lots of things have happened. I want to know. I love doing these streams. Just one, where are people coming from that are watching? We normally have a really cool global audience. I like to play the game of who's the furthest away from each other. So let me know where you're coming from. But also, what has been like the most exciting thing that you've seen in AI? Like the most recent announcements. I mean, there was OpenAI Dev Day, 2 days ago, yesterday. I can't keep track anymore. But that was huge announcements. Also, we've had Microsoft Build. That seems like 2 years ago, but that was it'd be after we ended this. Yeah. So let us know what's got you excited about like building with AI, generative AI, all things like this. But as we always do with these questions, I always want to ask my guest as well. So Melina, what have you seen lately that's been exciting in the world of generative AI or just Azure AI in general?
Oh my goodness. Well, we have been, under development for a lot of things. I would say, obviously one of the things that, is very important to me is having a great experience developing. So the Azure AI Studio went GA, which means generally available in May. I'll share with you a little bit more of that. And then more recently, I'll just show you a really cool demo of our Azure AI video translator, where one of our VPs, Marco Quesalena, really shows off some language capabilities here. And it's honestly really cool, just being able to be at the forefront of these types of capabilities where creativity can really thrive and make our lives easier. Speaks volumes. So I'm just going to take 30 seconds and show you, one of the really cool things that I think, I've seen recently.
Yeah, and time to demo is great. This is what we like about Make Azure AI Real, right? We don't want to just have slides, demos, code. That's what we're about here. So Melina, take it away. Let's see this demo of the service you just mentioned.
Yeah, can you see my screen? Is that working?
Yeah, we can see it beautifully.
All right, awesome. So like I said, this is Azure AI Video Translator, and take a look.
New video translator. With this, I can translate videos into other languages in my own voice. Maintenant, je peux enfin parler français comme je l'ai toujours voulu. または日本語で何かをささやくこともできます。या मैं हिंदी में चिल्लाकर आपसे बात करूं? This AI is going to bring the world together.
So just take a look at that, as one of the amazing capabilities that we've been seeing over this past year. And if you noticed, Marco wasn't, speaking in a different language in and of himself. His voice, as he was speaking English, was being translated in real time, and in his tone, in his swing of voice, and that's just really powerful.
Yeah, I think I speak two languages, but one language not many people speak, which is Swedish. So,
Corey, I will one up you. I speak almost 4, and I'll say the last one is kind of, just lack of usage. But, we both understand the power of being able to communicate with people all over the world and all the possibilities that opens.
Nice. Yeah. And I think, I mean, we're talking about, applications here of AI. It's such a great way to just make communication more open. And I like Lee's answer here on, not even seeing the slides, Lee, but he mentioned real time, which we'll talk about a little bit, in speech and audio. So I think that's like a quote unquote new world in terms of opportunities, use cases, things that we can all build on. And Kush says it's amazing. It's so real. Yeah. Because that is the quote for, I hope we can put this quote up every time we do this, is it's so real. That's what we want out of this series for sure. Seeing the realness of what we can build today. And speaking of today or yesterday, I guess, or like, I don't really know when exactly.
A couple days ago, Monday,
a couple
Tuesday?
days ago. Yeah. But there was a kind of big announcement around, the real-time API with using the OpenAI models. What this enables is really cool, because as we are, Lee and I kind of having a conversation, smooth, natural language, this is how most people communicate, right? Texting is obviously a big thing. But when we wanted to, depending on the use case, or calling customer service, or we're interacting with, even like I saw a use case around like video game characters, but it's this kind of smooth, real time, natural language, respond. You can even interrupt things like that. Like, if Melina was speaking, that'd be rude to interrupt her, but I could do that. So why not, bring that experience to working with large language models, specifically here in this case, the OpenAI models, right? Where we want customers, users to have that sort of feeling back to back. And that's what the real-time API enables. So was announced again. So someone in the audience can like give us exact date when the dev day was. Was it yesterday? Was
October 1st. Was that Monday?
Or Tuesday? It's just like the second or third today. I'm losing track already. But that was announced, and already now it's also in public preview for we're using this within Azure as well. So Melina, I think you have another demo we could see.
Yeah, let's take a look. Obviously through the Azure ecosystem, we offer the real-time API through Azure OpenAI, like Corey said, under preview. Let's take a look at what interesting use case one of our product lead, Seth Juarez, has put together for us. Give me one moment while I share.
While you wait, Lee has confirmed it was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday.
So not yesterday. Felt like it yesterday.
Here we go.
Voice-enabled AI is going to change the way we do things. I'm trying to get some support here, but the chat is just not doing it for me. So let's see if I can get them to call.
Contoso Wireless.
Pretty cool. Hey, what's going on?
Hi, Seth. It's great to talk with you. How can I assist you today?
Oh, I think you know.
I see you want to use your older Motorola flip phone alongside your new Quantum phone. Unfortunately, it's usually not possible to use two devices on a single account.
I did not know that. That's making me very upset. Obviously, I'll use a new phone, but what can you do to make it right?
I'm sorry for the inconvenience, Seth. Since you'll be using the new phone, I can add a discount to your next month's service bill to make up for this. Does that sound okay?
That's awesome. Would you do that and maybe finish with a joke, since you've been so nice?
We'll leave a joke as a cliffhanger.
Yeah, you can. I'll share the video in the recesses.
Yeah.
We'll share that with you as well. But as you can see, in this scenario with the real-time API, it's speech input and speech output. That's what you're seeing. And that's really an advanced capability that we're really excited to see be fleshed out in your applications over the next year as well.
Yeah, and I think there's a few things in the demo. The best demos are the things they don't talk about sometimes as well. Where you like announce a new product and people like start analyzing. But like there's a few things else going on, right? So you saw Seth take a photo of the phone beforehand in the chat. So obviously using the vision capabilities that like a GPT-4o would have. And then, you saw even the response around talking about the corporate policy or the customer policy around having two different phones connected. And in the background, that's actually doing some sort of what we call voice RAG. So if you're familiar with RAG and how that's working in terms of grounding the large language model in facts or data, in this case the policy of this phone company, then the large language model is able to, with some help of other components, retrieve that, present that into natural language, not only as a text, but now in this case with the real-time API in a voice, which is like, really allowing that, if you ever sat on hold and you're like, oh, press 1 to do this, press 2, right?
The
It's not
worst.
that, yeah, it's the worst. And now we have this, not only that like natural language experience, but actually grounded data as well with the power of voice RAG, which I think is really cool.
Agreed.
Yeah, so see some in the chat. Hello, Fernando from LinkedIn. Oh, LinkedIn audience. I'm always impressed with the LinkedIn audience. It's the most professional audience. So we have YouTube, it's a bit casual. LinkedIn is where the pros are. So welcome. And I'm gonna always push people in. This beer says, is this about the real-time API? And it is incorrect. We just discussed some of the things. Since we did the Make Azure AI Real, what has changed in the world of AI, and one of these new announcements, new features is the real-time API. So we'll link to some resources as well, so you can take a look at that. But what else? What else has changed? And what else are we going to be kind of covering in this series going forward?
Yeah, we really wanted to bring back Make Azure AI Real for a season 2, just because so many things have changed over the past year since we last ended season 1, which was in December. And so for this go around, we really want to set everybody here up for success. Make Azure AI Real is about bringing your projects, your businesses, your startups to life with experts that are getting to bring this to life every day, so you can ask the questions that you want to ask, or unblock yourself when you are working with your groups, with your peers, or by yourself. And so one of the slides that I think came up earlier on the episodes that we'll be hosting over the next month and a half or so is one. We've seen a lot of progress, a lot of innovation around agents and multi-agents, especially using Azure OpenAI. So we'll have an episode on that. We'll have one of our product managers come in and really get hands-on with agents and multi-agents on October 17th. Secondly, we've seen a lot of evolution with small language models. We have Phi now as Microsoft's small language model as well, and with large language models. And with that comes the evolution of LLM ops to Gen AI ops. So we'll have an episode on helping you build better generative AI apps on October 24th as well. And then we have, you'll be seeing a lot more with GitHub over the next year or so, as you've already been seeing. We have Azure AI in GitHub models. We'll share with you more about that.
Yeah, spoiler alert, Melina, spoiler alert.
Good. Yeah, it's a big spoiler. And so we'll have an episode on deploying AI solutions with GitHub. And then lastly, we're still figuring out a date, but we'll have one on fine-tuning as well, because your apps are really, unable to fully realize their potential if you can't customize them. So we really want to make sure we get a topic for fine-tuning and customizing in front of this audience as well. And then more there. This isn't the end-all be-all list. So, something interesting pops up, we'll add it to the calendar. So make sure you, stay up to date on those registrations.
We also have I'm going to say it's like a bonus community episode at the end. So if there's something that, we'll share the agenda and what we have already planned. But if there's something you see that you want to know, there are many ways you can express that. One, you can just say it right in the chat right now. We'll collect that feedback. We also have a Discord channel, which we'll share later on. So I made a special channel for this whole series. Like Melina had mentioned, it's going to be a month and a half journey. I will be there every episode. Melina will be in the background every episode.
I'm in here in spirit.
But please let us know. It's always good, like I said, if there's things that you're building or things that you want to build and you feel like you have a gap in the knowledge, What this show is really great about, I think, is that we're going to get subject matter experts in that particular topic, whether they're building the tools themselves, you're using it day to day in production, or really just again have a good insights on how other people are doing it, and we're going to share that with you. This is what Make Azure AI Real is all about for sure.
Agreed. So let us know in the chat, what you want to see. We are, always looking to incorporate. This is for everybody here. And so, one of the main things that this particular episode is all about is setting you up for success. Like I mentioned, giving you the tools and resources that you'll be seeing all the way throughout these episodes. And I will also pop the collection in the chat where you can follow along on the resources used on every episode, as well as just additional, areas where, folks here are all over the world. So if you haven't found a community near you to build, find one through Global AI Community and events near you. So we'll be sharing more of those as well. But for today, Corey and I will walk you through several demos of how to set yourself up for success as you go on this journey.
Yeah, and I think from an Azure perspective, the best place to start from setup success is the Azure AI Studio, which I don't remember. I think it was still in its infancy. It was a baby when we were doing this last year. So, Melina, why don't you walk us through what that looks like now, what the experience is, and yeah, take us away on what can people do in the Azure AI Studio?
Yes, love the Azure AI Studio call. So one of the awesome things about Azure AI Studio is that you don't need an account to sign in right now. So this is one of the platforms you'll see all the way throughout the series, or when you're developing and making your Gen AI apps. And especially as you make them more custom. So if you go to ai.azure.com, like I said, you can follow along. You don't really need an account to just log in and look at the different models. So we just kind of zoom out, of what's happening here with the studio. The studio is really, our platform where, our models are available. You might hear of our Azure OpenAI model launches. Those you can learn about here. Same with our Meta models, our Mistral models as well from our partners. Those will show up here as well. And one of the great things that you can do in the Azure AI Studio when you're trying to figure out, hey, what are all my options model-wise? Choice, we want to give you that choice on which model you want to build on. And for that, we have the model catalog. So you'll see the tabs here on the left to orient yourself around, all the different models that we have. And folks, there are over 1,600. So
that's a lot of models.
That's a lot of models.
That is a lot of models.
There are a lot of models. So for that reason, I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but you can really see, like if I click into, Meta Llama 3 8B Instruct, that's under preview.
That'll be for the director's cut of the stream. You're just reading every model card that there's available.
Right.
So for that one.
And then pop quizzes for those, for those folks as well. So yeah, this layout here is called the model card. You can take a look at, kind of an overview on the left side with, how you can use it. What's it meant to be used? What's it not really meant to be used for? The responsibility and safety section. Responsible AI is, not just an ethos or a principle, but it's actual tools being built into the Azure AI Studio platform. And you'll see that all the way throughout as well. Various options to click through in terms of, security artifacts, versions. And so there's, you could spend, so much time as a curious person going through what's recently been announced and, what models you might want to start working with. But we know, like I said, there are a lot of models. And one of the common, things that we hear from folks is, hey, help me choose a model. How do I know which one is good for what? How do I know which one is performing better than others?
I get that question all the time. Like even when I'm walking on the street, like people, they don't even know I work for Microsoft and they just ask me that. I'm like, wow, this is very, they don't ask my name or anything. They're just asking me what
They're
model
just like,
should I
that guy.
choose. Yeah. You look like you know.
Yeah, that is like he looks like he knows which models to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we do have a model benchmark section as well that will load here shortly. So you can look at model performance with metrics, industry standardized metrics here as well. You can see if you need a bit of a buffer, we have help on the right-hand side in terms of resources for Azure AI Studio and how to use the benchmark section as well. So this is a really good way where you can look at benchmarks for different models and how they compare to each other under different industry data sets. So this is really cool, to be honest. Being able to dive deep into how models are performing, what's right for you and your use case is going to be really important throughout your whole development journey. And I'll stop here in order, just to kind of have you digest both the model catalog and the model benchmarks. But, once you, have an account with Azure AI Studio, that's where you can really get into the meat of building your own generative AI applications and making them more customized for what you need.
Nice. I'll run with this food analogy that you've given, because I think if Azure AI Studios, that's the full meal. That's the what you came for, the main course. I want to show the appetizer, if you will. This is I want to, again, people ask me on the street what model to choose, and then most of the time I just said, oh yeah, go to the Azure AI Studio. You can go. There's a playground. There's things like that. But they want more. They want to get their hands-on knowledge, which I respect. And we have another new announcement that we had between now and the last episode, which was GitHub Models. I want to know in the audience, have you used GitHub Models at all? I hope everyone is saying yes soon enough. If not, you will, because I think it's incredible. And this is where I point people to now when they are trying to do the whole prototyping stage. They want to get an understanding of what large language models could do, how do each of them react. And we've made it super simple to do that within GitHub, the GitHub Models that we have available. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll look at what this looks like. And I really like this contrast because GitHub is in like dark mode default, I think. And then, so this is like the darkness side of things. But this is the model marketplace for GitHub Models. You're going to see something kind of similar. It doesn't have the 1,600 or 1,700 models that we have in the Azure AI Studio. So that's one limitation. But it has a lot of the most popular models that we've seen people work with. So we have the OpenAI models available. Like Melina had mentioned, the five family of models, so the SLMs that we have available. Some Cohere models, which are great for doing RAG and embeddings. And then even the Llama family models, so the Meta, coming from Meta, which is like, I think only a few weeks ago I'm really bad with time. Maybe it was last week. Llama 3.2 was announced, and boom, it's already there, as well as the Mistral model family as well. Now, this is just, this is not that exciting. I hope you're not that excited about just seeing a bunch of names of models. What really is cool about this is I can actually go into, let's say, let's take the new kid at school here, the Llama 3.2 model. And I can do a couple of things. You'll see first I can do a playground. Okay, let's say, what's some common features of Gothic architecture. And that's nice. This is like going to give me that playground experience that you might see other places as well, in terms of, just testing out the model parameters, which is really important. Like this is a really long answer that maybe I don't want about Gothic. So maybe I'll limit some of the, the max tokens, things like that. The temperature, top P, which is also around how the model sort of is controlling randomness and how it's using diversity in terms of response. This is all great. This is really great way, even from a user perspective, to start to get a sense of how each of the models respond to different prompts. But what I think is really great from talking about making Azure AI real and making, building with these models is this get started option. So once I click on that, first things first, I'm using my own personal access token for GitHub There's no additional cost here. This is not connected to Azure AI Studio in this case. I'm just using my GitHub personal token, which in the cases when I'm going to show you later on by running code spaces comes included, which is really nice in terms of managing all of that. And if you're using GitHub outside of, if you're just using GitHub, essentially you have a personal access token most likely. We can do a couple of things. We can look at the code samples here. So Python, for example, hopefully some Python people on the chat, and it's going to give me some code examples in terms of running basic code. Okay, just to get a response. Also give me some things from a multi-turn conversation, which I think is really great. So in terms of just like now managing not only one, hey, one prompt, here's a response, but like how the user or how a chat would actually be managing it. So in this case, right, in this example, we have the, what is the capital of France? Then the assistant or the large language model responds, and then the user message, what about Spain? And then we get that response there. Also things around streaming, which is nice. So again, getting in that sense of that the model, you're actually presenting the tokens of the response as it comes in, essentially, rather than, here's answer, boom, take it and run with it kind of thing, which is great from a user experience when we're talking about building applications. And then even for the multimodal models that are out there, we can also do things like, image input. So taking an image and then allowing that to go in and, get a response, whether it's describing the image, analyzing the image, things like that, which I think a lot of people build with. Now, like I said, what I could do is I can run this in a code space. That will then have all these examples here, which is a really great way to get started. But what I really like to do outside of just the code space is, giving this inside, my own code that I'm working with. And back to the point of, the question I get on the street, which is, what model should I choose? GitHub models, and as well as this Azure AI Inference SDK, which I'll show you, makes it really simple to start seeing, and not just asking people in the street, seeing how these models operate differently, or product different responses in terms of your use case that you're building with. So in this code example that I have here, which is taken from, as a small plug, because Melina said I could plug things, it's from our Generative AI for Beginners course, which we'll provide a link with as well, because we've just upgraded this course to use GitHub models. Again, this is completely free, so now everyone can start learning with our Generative AI for Beginners course. What I can do is essentially I have this AI Inference SDK, which now is a Python package, and all I have to do is change the model name to get a bit different response. So in this case, I have GPT-4o. I have an image that I want to send out, which if I look at it, it's just like image of Carlota, one of my colleagues, talking about the model catalog. So this is very meta. This is super meta here on what we actually can do. And basically, I want the model to tell me what's in this image. So if I go ahead and I'm just going to run this cell, I should get a response back from, which one did we choose here for the first time? GPT-4o. So, great. The image shows a web page of a model catalog, and underneath some announcements about trying it yourself. Great description. Now, maybe I like that. Maybe I like that style, if you will, that format. Of course, there's things I can do in the prompt to change all of these things, but I want to give Llama 3.2 an opportunity to impress me. It's a new multimodal model out there. So let me just go ahead and I'm just going to comment this out. If I've closed my cell. Let me get my cell open. But essentially what I can do after that is change the way that we are going to be able to bring in the model itself in terms of what we want in a response. So it's just as easy as just changing that out. And I've did I delete this code? Where has my code gone? Classic demo-ish. Demo life here. Oh yeah, I'm like at the bottom now. So weird. Where is my this was that one. Yeah, here we go. So now I could just, if I want to, I can comment this out and change the model name to Llama. So this is, again, I don't have to change APIs. I don't need to go to another SDK. I don't need to do all of this other work. Just changing one parameter. I'm going to give, let me quote this, give Llama an opportunity here to also answer this question and test it out. So this is the 90 billion parameter model here. It's taking the same image, and now I get a complete different, not complete different, but quite different format. So the image shows a woman on the left-hand side, screenshot of the web page. It's just another way of describing this image. But when we're talking about prototyping, when we talk about making Azure AI real, these GitHub models are a perfect way to get going, to start again feeling the differences, seeing how use cases in there. And this is taking two multimodal models, but you can also look at a large language model and a small language model like a 5.3 and a GPT-4o, and how those kind of operate differently. And this is a very simple use case just to describe the image, but I'm sure you're building a lot more interesting things out there, and GitHub models is where things can get started further.
Super cool. Thanks for sharing, Corey. I think GitHub models is just gonna accelerate the types of MVPs, proof of concepts that we see people building, and folks are building their startups even faster than they were, and I want to encourage everybody to check out Microsoft for Startups as well. I think that it's all connected in this ecosystem. Being able to build better, build faster, get your proof of concepts out, your MVPs out early, fail, and learn. And so Microsoft for Startups really is Microsoft's ecosystem for mentorship. There's opportunities for free credits if you're not a part of the Founders Hub. That'll be in the resources and collections page that we'll share as well. And so what else do you really like about GitHub models, Corey? Other than meeting really developers where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think the time to market is just significantly being decreased, right? I mean, for me personally, I do these demos, do this education. I want people to see what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? And not only describe it, but allow the opportunity for them to start building with it. And I think GitHub models really allows that action. Instead of having its kind of oh, we need to find change out the code, or this is how this model works. We really made it super simple to get going and really start prototyping, which I'm excited to see more people to do.
Yeah, I love it. Same. Super excited about seeing what folks build with us. A big part of that building is being a part of a community. And so one of the things, speaking of plugging, I do want to plug, you already talked about your Discord that we have on the Azure AI side. Do join that, folks. That's a great way to find other folks that are curious, that want to code, want to develop, want to solve important problems in the world. And we also have a group called Global AI Community. If you enjoy attending meetups or leading meetups, it's globalai.community. They have meetups all over the world, and you can find one near you, as well as really awesome videos that you can see around who are the humans behind AI. Get inspired there as well. And then you'll also see them at our events if you are looking for something a little bit bigger, a little bit to get a little bit more deep on workshops or hands-on labs, or 2,000, 3,000 plus people. We do have Ignite coming up in late November. Free to join virtually. And then we do have the AI tour making its route all the way around the world. You can search AI tour Microsoft. It'll also be in the resources page. But we were just in Mexico and we were just in Brazil. So a one-day free event, labs, fun meetups, getting to stay, being able to stay up to speed on all the things that are happening within and around Microsoft as well. So definitely wanted to plug those.
I think the moral of the story is you shouldn't be learning this alone.
Yeah.
There's so many opportunities. The Discord,
no need to do that.
Global AI Community. There's the AI tour as well. these are all great opportunities. Like, I think, the huge benefit is to meet other people that are also in whatever stage you are in this journey. I think, we are continually to go through the jungle and kind of slashing away, finding new opportunities, new techniques, new frameworks, new tools, like we just showed you, and learning from other people and what they're doing is like the only way, I think, to really get go with this technology, is to find out what others people doing, what other learnings they have, because it's really going to accelerate your growth too. So
100%. We're better together. That's what I always say.
oh, nice. That's another quote we should have going.
Well, I think that's all from me, Corey, for what I had to show today.
Perfect. Well, this has been great. Like I said, we were grounded, to use an AI term, if you will, on make Azure AI real. Melina, this was an honor that you've come to the stage for this kickoff. But I'll be taking the show over as we go on to our first episode kicking off. We're actually going to be doing a discussion on small language models, so we will share that out to everyone. And we'll see you in the next one. But like I said, in every stream, you could have been anywhere on the internet right now, but you spent about 37 minutes with us. So for that, I'm truly grateful. And we will see you in episode, I guess it's episode 0, so episode 1.
Episode 1.
Of Make Azure AI Real series. Thank you all for joining, and have a great evening, morning, wherever you are.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.